Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you all having a great day. Today we have all four series coming at you. The Legend Series, the Truck Series, Xfinity, and the Cup Series at Talladega Superspeedway for the first Talladega race of two this season here on this modded custom Cup Series schedule. But we have the Legend Series to get through first here for the third time this season, and we were at Eldora for this race here. Now was Ryan Newman. He started on pole for this race. As you guys know, if you've been keeping up, Ryan Newman has actually won both races so far. Race 2, he had to really work for it and hold off Kyle Larson and actually pass him late in the race. But Ryan was off to a stellar start here, not only to this race, but of course to the season, as well as he was already driving away from the field. And obviously, as you guys know, I'm able to adjust the driver ratings, and I've been very surprised to see Newman once again driving away, considering the rating he has. But he is known, of course, for being very strong at dirt racing. I myself, I'm the opposite. I'm not much of a dirt racer, but of course we still wanted to be a part of this series now as we were trying to pass John Colbert there as we went down into turns one up the inside of Jimmy Johnson. There you got Michael Cozy Jr. up inside the top 10. He had a rough start to the season, but he's been picking things up a little bit here now as he wants to make that push towards the Dirt Series playoffs here now as we're right to the back of Jimmy Johnson. It was absolute chaos right here. Now we're 3 wide with Dale Jr., and it was just a mess. So a little bit later in the race now, I actually make a pass on David Schulthouse as you see me getting up to that outside, and now we're 3 wide with David as well as Jimmy Johnson. But I was really just trying to make this outside work to my advantage, and it was starting to kick in because now on lap 9 of 13 to the outside of Cozy there as we nearly come together now as he's battling with Kyle Busch now as we go off in turns 1, just trying to at least get a top 10 out of this as Ryan Newman was schooling the field here in Eldora. He was continuing to drive away now, coming to 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap of this race. Johnson was able to get up my inside, actually passes me, so I drop back down to P12. So we're outside of the top 10 as Ryan Newman's already down the back straightaway on this final lap into turn 3 as we just start the final lap now. More contact as well with Kurt Busch here as I send it into turns 1, hit the outside. Well, now looking to the inside, Ryan Newman wins here in Eldora, goes 3 for 3 on the season so far here as we send it up the inside to the inside now in the left door of Jimmy Johnson. Not enough us actually crashed the car coming to the line, but thank goodness our car still manages to cross it, and we have to settle for the 12th position here in the NASCAR Legends Series as you see the rest of the order on your screen. Cozy as well as Travis Brown up inside the top 10, Joey Stone up there in P3, and myself and David Schulthouse outside of the top 10 with 12th and 14th. We got Lation and Colbert, 2 guys that make me a lot of paint schemes there in the mid-teens finishing order, but now we're going to jump through towards the Truck Series race here, which will actually be at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we got 2 races at Charlotte here for Trucks and Xfinity, and then Talladega for the Cup Series. As you guys know, we put a subscriber in the truck for every single Truck Series race, and this time out we had subscriber KR for us in the truck here today now for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. So we usually have a very, very strong performance every time we come to Charlotte in both Trucks and Xfinity, and we usually do decent on the Cup Series side, but we got underway now as KR was a little bit down the order compared to what we usually do. Usually we're right up there on that front row here in Charlotte, but we were only 3 rows back this time. We were in P6 here as we went down towards turns 1, and knowing the speed we usually have here in the Truck Series at Charlotte, there was 0 concerns. I was expecting him to be able to get to that bottom and just make it work and get to the front as soon as possible here as it goes down into turn 3, but forced of course to make that outside work here on this opening lap here now as the 16 of Austin Hill was trying to look to the inside as we came through out of turns 4, but a very just calm first lap for KR now as he didn't really gain any ground because he had no opportunity to really gain any ground, but right here into turns 1 he would get an opportunity to go down to the inside, and he didn't quite take it yet, and then that allowed Austin Hill to look back up the inside of him as he came through out of turns 2, but we had the momentum down the back straight away to get clear of the 16, but instead of going to the inside he went to the outside and made a few passes, but now a little bit later he looks to the inside of the 2 of Tim Richmond, and now this would be a pass for the 3rd position, moving him up into striking position here to go for a win. Now approaching the final few laps of this race, now up the inside of the 38 here as we came through out of turns 4, so now KR moves through into the 2nd position. Now on the final lap into turns 3 he full sends up the inside of Drew Dollar. There's some contact out of turns 4 into the quarter panel, sending him sideways, but he makes a big save as KR looks to the inside. It's not going to be enough, and Drew Dollar in the 13 truck hangs on to the victory here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as we settle for the 2nd position as Chandler Smith down there in P3, Tim Richmond and John Hunter Nemechek round out your top 5 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So overall still a good race for us. We expected to win, but I mean we came up just barely short, so Cannot complain about that runner-up finish here whatsoever in the NC Lottery, or in the NZ Education Lottery 200. But now we come through into the Xfinity Series here at the same track of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, we got Charlotte coming up later in the season for the Cup Series, and we might have some type of special paint schemes going on there. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, we got the Darlington Throwback race coming up a lot earlier this season, so stay tuned for that as well. And I'm excited to show you guys the Throwback. I actually might run a Throwback for both Darlington races. I haven't fully decided on that yet, but we already have at least one Throwback planned, and I'll unveil that at a later date now. As we were underway, unfortunately, Paul Menard behind the wheel for us in Xfinity. He started at the very back of the field, and he didn't really make any mistakes in qualifying. He was just downright slow. We never had any inspection issues or anything. No, we were just downright slow in qualifying. He ran a terrible lap. He never got into the wall or anything. He never hit the apron and got loose. He just straight up ran a terrible lap. So we were playing catch up the whole race long here in Charlotte. Paul, of course, not being afraid to get aggressive. He made it 4 wide through the tri-oval a little bit later in this race, just trying to get any position he possibly can. We've already won multiple races here in the Xfinity Series, so we are guaranteed 100% to be in the playoffs now. But a little bit later now, 3 wide up the inside of the 7 of Justin Allgaier and the 51 of Jeremy Clements. This actually being on the final lap, by the way, coming to the line to finish this race. And Paul, I couldn't tell. I don't think he got the 51, but he ended up at least rebounding to a top 10. And no, he does get the 51 of Jeremy Clements. So we get P9 just barely by about 1/1000th of a second. So, I mean, a strong result for us here in the Xfinity Series, considering at least where we started there at the very back of the field. Ty Gibbs ends up picking up another victory here in the Xfinity Series before he moves into the Cup Series next season in place of Denny Hamlin, who will be retiring at the end of the season. But now we come through into Talladega Superspeedway. This time I actually decided, you know what, we're just not even going to do qualifying. We know where we're starting. I think this is the first time I haven't done qualifying here at a plate track, even though we always know where we will qualify. But so, starting at the back, you see the stories of the race already. Eric Jones in that 02 McLaren fails technical inspection, so he'll be starting at the back along with us here for the Geico 500. It's been a weird season, boys. I don't know what to expect today. Last time we came to a plate track, it was looking good right up to the end. So we'll do what we can today. Let's go have a good one. There you hear myself on the radio. It's been a few days since we've actually had career mode on the channel. So back in Atlanta, we actually won Stage 1, our first Stage win of the season, and then we actually blew a tire late in the race, finished in the mid-20s or something like that, and ruined a great day we were having. But now the Geico 500 is underway. We've won this track before previously with Hendrick Motorsports in the 24 car. No reason we can't do it again here today as we are underway for this Geico 500. Lewis Hamilton on my outside. There's the Going Racing Chevrolet with Daniel Suarez behind the wheel. Last episode, Suarez picked up his second career victory and first win for the Going Racing team, and now that will put Suarez likely in the playoffs. We've had quite a few surprise winners, and honestly, I consider Suarez a surprise winner. He might be driving for my own team, but clearly we haven't shown that we have the resources with the Going Racing car so far this season to really be a playoff competitor. So definitely not sure if we're going to really see Suarez be able to pick up any more wins unless we really get on top of getting some good equipment with this Going Racing Camaro here in the coming races now. So already 3 wide in front of us. These guys not hesitating to get aggressive here on this opening lap whatsoever, as we're just kind of settling in behind Lewis Hamilton as Denny Hamlin leads the way through the tri-oval, coming through to complete this first and opening lap of the Geico 500. Like I mentioned earlier on the radio, last time we came to a plate race, it was looking good. The Daytona 500, we were running up front. We were second in Stage 2 to our teammate Chase Elliott, who picked up that stage victory, setting us up pretty well for that third and final stage, and then pretty much everything went wrong. We got stuck on the outside after making an aggressive move, and then we couldn't really get back down to the bottom, and then some cautions kind of messed us up as well, and next thing you know, we were way down the order now as I get down in front of Lewis Hamilton. There was actually a little bit of contact there with the 33 of Austin Cindric and myself here as we go down towards turns 3. So just continuing to run this bottom line, though. Now on lap 3, we are actually 4 wide into turn 3 here. Really wasn't too much of a big deal. We had a lot of room around us as Brad Keselowski was currently leading the way there, as we got the 47 of Chastain, the 23 of Bubba Wallace up there on the outside here, as I got help coming from behind with Lewis Hamilton in that Mercedes car now, as he's going to give me a big push as we go down into that tri-oval here. He's got the 45 of Derek Kraus now falling down the order a little bit now. So 11 laps to go in Stage 1. If it stays green, green, we should be very close on field, but likely will have to make a green flag pit stop now, as every time I'm beside that 45 car, I'm just in awe with how good that car looks. Lachon did an insane job with that paint scheme here. Now is on lap 4 on the exit of the fourth turn. I start getting a little bit aggressive here, making it 3 wide in the middle. I see an opportunity to go 4 wide in the middle, and I was actually feeling like taking it, but unfortunately right here the run kind of stalls up, so I just decided to drop right back down behind Chase Briscoe in the 14, who's had a very rough season so far. Definitely the roughest season he's had so far in his Cup Series career. Now as I get right to the back of him, picking him up briefly as a draft partner now as Lewis Hamilton decides he's going to hang me out now. So we're again 4 wide down the back straightaway. I have 0 help at this point, and now he drops down in front of myself, so I guess we're going to get linked back up with him now as William Byron, fortunately, is going to come up behind me and give me a push down into turn 3 as Kyle Busch now leading the way for a brief moment. So I'm trying to get myself forwards here and get to the back of Lewis Hamilton here and at least work our way into some stage points before the stage comes to an end. We still have 10 laps before that stage does end here in Talladega. So we do have plenty of time, but it definitely wasn't the first 5 laps I was looking for here in Talladega. Now as we come through on at lap 6, going 3 wide in the middle between the 78 of McLaughlin as well as Lewis Hamilton there on the inside. Now as we have a huge run on the back of Stendos that completely destroys the momentum we were carrying as we went down into turns 1. I decided to not give up on it though. I'm still to the outside of Hamilton, and then that momentum dies again. So now it's like, okay, we might want to just drop back down to that bottom here. Is this second lane really not going anywhere? So I decided to jump back down again behind Lewis Hamilton. Now on that bay, continuing to follow Lewis, we actually work our way up towards the top 10 here now, up to P12 as we go down towards turns 1 up the inside of our HMS teammate of Chase Elliott there, as now up front it is the 19 of Harrison Burton here. Now as we would clear Elliott, we would get past Denny Hamlin. Now we are up into P10 on lap 9 as I'm continuing to just kind of experiment, go up with some different lanes, but at the end of the day the bottom lane was working the best ultimately right here, so I decided to stick with Hamilton now on the inside of as we've been following Lewis Hamilton pretty much throughout this whole pack now up towards the top 10 in the final 5 laps. There are a little bit of contact with the 22 of Joey Logano, one of our rivals of course here as we came through though out of turns 4. A bit of an awkward moment right there. Now I'm forcing Hamilton 3 wide with Joey Logano as we come through the triangle, and now we move up into the top 5 up to the inside of Kyle Busch into P4. He has 0 momentum whatsoever. So now on lap 11, they're 4 wide behind us as we move up into P4, which is all single file in front of us. Now on lap 11 though, the 19 of Harrison Burton, you see him pulling off. He is going to be coming into the pit lane along with a few others. So now we're deciding, okay, when do we want to pit? The majority of the field decided, you know what, they're going to stay out for an extra lap. So I decided to stay out as well. And of course a caution could come out and actually give us a good position here. So now I make a move up the inside of Briscoe and move up into P2 because I want to try and be the first guy leading this pack here into the pit lane. So now I'm getting to the back of Noah Gragson and we want to make a move, but then nope, the caution comes out, and sure enough, stage 1 comes to an end here, and we will have to settle for a very, very strong result of 2nd place here at Talladega Superspeedway in the first stage of the Geico 500. Alright boys, I'm feeling pretty good about the car right now. I mean, obviously it comes down to luck at the end of the day at Talladega, so if we can keep doing what we're doing, I think we might have a shot to get that win. That would be really nice and take off a lot of stress, so I'll try my best here. There you hear myself on the radio to the team here as we, of course, are going to be coming to the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. Now, everybody that came into the pit lane before that caution came out, well, they can stay out here. So we are going to, no matter what, by default, give up some track position. And sure enough, we only give up 6 spots. We actually beat Noah Gragson out of the pit lane. So we move up to P8. Unfortunately, I'd actually rather not beat Gragson out of the pit lane because now we're on the outside for the start of Stage 2 in the Geico 500. And now, here in Talladega Superspeedway, it is time to get amped. caution is out here from Talladega Superspeedway at the end of the first lap in stage 2 after we were in the amp segment there. I made some contact after I hit the outside wall, and next thing you know, we're all going all over the place. No one actually crashed, so I'm not actually sure why there's a caution, because everybody kept it going in the right direction. No one really had any significant hits to the wall, but nonetheless the caution comes out, and now all of a sudden we are down to P19 here after one lap and one little incident, so we will have to restart now down here in the midfield. But fortunately we're on the inside of a bit of a chaotic moment here to start stage 2 as we were back underway. This is going to leave us 11 laps to go in this second stage here, as we're right behind that 42 of Tyler Reddick now. So not what we were looking for so far, but definitely we still have that opportunity to move our way back forwards now, as Reddick in that 42 car, a driver that moved from Richard Childress Racing over to Chip Ganassi Racing this season, has been having a decent career so far here in the Cup Series. He only has one career win. He was looking promising at Richard Childress, and then his performance kind of fell off, and now of course you see Zane Smith in that 8 car instead, who's had a subpar season so far as well. Now pretty much getting about what you expect out of that car at Richard Childress Racing here as we go down towards turn 3. The 12 of Daniel Hemrick there on the outside. He might get forced 4 wide potentially here as we come through the center of 3 and 4, but Harrison Burton in the 19 car continuing to lead the way here in the Geico 500 as we have help from Ryan Blaney in the 7. Blaney's definitely been picking it up lately here in his performance. He had a terrible start to the season, but over the last handful of races, 4 or 5 races or so, his performance has definitely been improving, and if he keeps it up, he's definitely going to be a playoff contender. But of course, he still has to get through Hendrick Motorsports now, as we've been having a terrible season at HMS, and hopefully we can turn it around sometime here soon, and we'd like to do that today. We have a good opportunity to do that. We've been showing a little bit of speed lately here with Hendrick Motorsports. You saw a bit of a checkup from myself right there. The 8 car really checked up. I got out of it, and it actually completely destroyed our momentum, so we lost so much ground. But now a checkup there on the middle lane, and that kind of brings me back into it as DeBenedetto, he's going to actually drop back down to the inside in front of myself, as they're now slowing up a big time behind us now, as they kind of got forced 3 wide now, as we still have help from that 7 of Ryan Blaney here as we go down this front straightaway. So now running P17 as Burton continues to command the field there in that 19 car now, as we try to look to the inside of the 43 of Eric Almirola. Very close quarters right there as we nearly come into each other, but working our way back towards the top 10 nice and smoothly so far now, as we came through on that lap 7 out of turns 2 now, right in behind that number 10 of Matt DiBenedetto now as we head down this back straightaway. Actually, there goes the 22 of Joey Logano spinning down the back straightaway. That was the only angle I could get out of it, but around he went. Caution comes out, and now it is going to be a bit of a late stage 2 restart now with Burton and Jones on the front row, and unfortunately with everybody not having to pit, that is going to force us P16 on the outside again for this restart. So pretty much everything that we don't want to happen here in stage 2 has happened so far, and you're seeing the results of it. Now we're down in the mid-teens in P16 on the outside line for a restart. Right in front of us we got Matt DiBenedetto, you got Christian Eckes, the rookie in the Red Bull on the row in front of us now, as the green flag once again is back out, and that will leave just 6 laps to go here from stage 2 in Talladega Superspeedway. So we still got time, plenty of time honestly, to move our way up towards that top 10, but there's also plenty of time to completely fall backwards and be in like 30th if we can't get down to that inside. And these guys, they're not wasting any time. I got forced 3 wide right off the bat. I was thinking about forcing a 4 wide for a moment. I realized that was a stupid idea, so now I actually cross over the 10 of DiBenedetto, get 3 wide in the middle, because I don't have any chance to get to that inside right now. But then Alex Bowman takes me 3 wide on the outside now as we go down this back straightaway. It was a complete mess here to start the restart, but now I have an opportunity to get to the inside. A big push there from the 7 of Blaney, and that gives me a huge run. We take it to the inside of the 8 of Zane Smith, but now once again 4 wide. We've been a 4 wide a lot today here in Talladega now, as we're going to have once again another push. Hopefully, no, Blaney actually, his run stalls out a little bit, so we're going to have to rely on him getting to the back of us here as we come through the travel. Sure enough, he gets right back to us now, and will continue to push us towards the back of our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott, who is currently on the outside looking in, by the way, on the playoffs, in desperate need of a good result here today now as we come through out of turns 4. I'm actually trying to get in behind Elliott, but I actually tag him in the corner panel, getting him sideways. We keep it straight though as we go down this front straightaway into the triangle now, as the 8 of Zane Smith gets hooked by the 19. I get to the back of him. Now he goes spinning. He's going to collect Ryan Blaney. We have nowhere to go, and all of a sudden a big crash here, and we're collected a little bit in Talladega Superspeedway as multiple cars pile in. 28th place is what we're going to get in stage 2 as the caution comes out, but I have no idea how that happened. The 19 pretty much just turned the 8 across my front nose, and then he checks up after saving it. I'm trying to check up. I still run into the back of him. Caution comes out as we have a crash there as he collects the 7 of Ryan Blaney. Lewis Hamilton wins stage 2, by the way, but we end up down in 28th place after getting involved in a stage-ending incident here in Talladega. Not sure, like I said, how the heck that happens. I think that's the first time I've seen the AI really just kind of hook someone to that extent, and it obviously wasn't on purpose. He would never hit him in the quarter panel or anything. It was just a really awkward situation of that 19 pushing the 8. So now, unfortunately, we are down here in P31 for the start of stage 3 with 20 laps remaining, coming up to 19 laps to go. In front of us we got an Alliance teammate of William Byron. Behind us we got our actual teammate of Alex Bowman, so hopefully we can work our way forwards now. But stage 2 was a complete disaster for our team now, so we definitely need to pick it back up here. Second is where we were in stage 1, with 28th in stage 2. A big difference now as we're up the inside of the 42 of Tyler Reddick now as they're stalling in front of us here just a little bit now as we're going to get to the back of William Byron. You see me always just kind of trying to stay off their back bumper, but get as close as I can to it, because I do not like having a draft partner that's right in front of me, because then wherever I go, they just follow me, of course, just kind of like they do when they're behind you. But when they're behind you, it's better because they're pushing you. But when I push the AI, it doesn't really do anything, so that's always a little bit annoying now as we go down this front stretch. Austin Cindric just behind myself. He won earlier this season at Road America, locked into the playoffs for the first time in his Cup Series careers. He's attempted 2 times to make the playoffs so far in his Cup Series career, failed both times, but should not fail this season. Bubba Wallace leading the way. He led the first and opening lap here of this third and final stage, looking to get that first win of his Cup Series career, and for the first time, or get that first win as well for the 2311 Racing Team here. As now we have a big push from behind from the 4 of Hailie Deegan, another driver that's performance is starting to been picking up a little bit here in the career mode, so definitely got to keep eyes on that 4 car of Hailie Deegan throughout the rest of this regular season to see if she can make it to the playoffs now. As Stewart Haas Racing, they've been kind of struggling as a whole, but Benedetto picked up a win earlier this season, then Kozlowski won at Richmond, and now they've seemed a little bit stronger as a whole, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens now. Is on lap 30, 3 wide behind us, but we're now up towards the top 20, just need a couple more positions to actually be in the top 20 now as Austin Dillon gets down in front of me. We look to the inside of Lewis Hamilton, the stage 2 winner, his first stage win of his NASCAR career. Now we don't know, of course, how long Lewis Hamilton will be in the NASCAR career mode, but we'll have to stay tuned on that one now as we continue though to move our way forwards. Now we were up inside the top 15 on lap 32. Kyle Larson, our Hendrick Motorsports teammate, going for the lead up at the front of the pack, trying to pass the 96 of Brandon Jones as we continue to get a push from that 4 car now as we're up towards the top 10, just about right behind the 12 car of Daniel Hemrick now as we head through this travel. Now pit stops, they will be coming up here briefly, so we do got to keep that in mind, but we just continue moving forwards on this inside line. I unfortunately accidentally pick up Anthony Alfredo in the 21 as a drafting partner. Did not want to do that, but we would continue to be his drafting partner now. On lap 34, Bubba Wallace back to the lead. He actually now gets in front of Kyle Larson, who checks up, and now Larson's going to fall down multiple positions. I just commit to the back of the 21 of Anthony Alfredo, and we're moving up into the top 3 for the first time here since stage 1, and now we're going to have an opportunity. I'm not waiting around whatsoever. I was trying to find a way around Anthony Alfredo as quick as I could, and I kind of really stalled my own momentum out right there, and that allowed Hailie Deegan to make a move to the right-hand side. Fortunately, though, we are going to hang on to the draft into turns 1, so now Deegan is going to be forced to stay on the outside and lose multiple positions after trying to make that move right there now, as I'm still trying to find a way past that 21 of Alfredo, because I'm knowing that green flag pit stops are on the way. But now on lap 35, Alfredo actually hangs out the 23 of Bubba Wallace into turns 3. I decided, you know what, I'm going to let Bubba in here, so I decided to just kind of chill behind him, say, you know what, let's work together, Bubba, now, as I want to get Bubba out in front as well. And sure enough, I would continue to push Bubba, and this time we would hang out the 21 of Anthony Alfredo together, like Alfredo hung out the 23 a few laps earlier. So now, coming up on now 11 laps to go, we know the green flag pit stops are very close, so now I'm also wanting to be the guy leading the pack when we get towards these green flag pit stops. Right here, I have no help whatsoever, though, and that's going to allow the 21 of Alfredo to actually get a big push from the 4 of Deegan, and that's going to put him back out front. Deegan decides she's not going to push the 21 anymore. She tried to take it 3 wide in the middle. Doesn't quite work out for her. Now, once again, she's the only car on the top here for the moment with no help whatsoever. So now, right behind that 21 of Alfredo, once again, knowing that it's going to be very hard to get to that front position now before we make these green flag pit stops. I decided to take a risk here like I did in Daytona and try to make a pass at the front of the pack on the outside, but this time we make it work and we slide down in front of the 21 and take over the runner-up position here in P2. Now as we came through out of turns 4 with 10 laps to go, Bubba goes to the top. I got help from the 21 of Anthony Alfredo into the triangle. This time we're going to move through to the inside here, and we are going to come through to lead our first laps here at Talladega Superspeedway on the day. Now 9 laps to go. The pit stop's coming up here in a few moments time. We had a couple cars pitting now on lap 39, so I decided, you know what, next time by, we're coming into the pit lane on lap 40. Now is Gregson. He was trying to make some moves to the outside. I decided to just stay on the bottom. I say, Gregson, you can do whatever you want here. I'm staying on the bottom because I am pitting this lap. So Gregson trying to make a pass for the lead. Another driver still looking for his first career win, by the way, as we go down into turns 3. Gregson is not able to clear myself, so he's not going to be able to pit this lap, but we are. So as we come through out of turns 4, getting ready to pit with a bunch of cars, hopefully. There comes Alfredo. Here comes Daniel Suarez now. As we slow down into the pit lane, we can always attack the pit lane very hard, but not that hard right there. We actually speed into the pit lane. That forces me into a 2-tire stop and as little fuel as possible, and all of a sudden we would throw everything away potentially here because I come into the pit lane and we lose all this track position and we do not have the draft. We're all by ourselves now with less than 10 laps to go, but then the caution comes out and kind of saves us in a way because we're down in 39th place, but a bunch of cars have to pit. So all of a sudden, we still have a slim chance, but I completely screwed everything over right there, and I was very, very disappointed in myself with that. I think I sped by maybe a couple miles per hour at the most. Now, unfortunately, we're in 24th on the outside for a late race restart, so things just got even harder and even worse for the 24 team in a season that's been filled with struggles by my own mistakes, like that speeding penalty right there. I just went back and actually looked at it. We were 57 miles per hour into a 55 mile per hour pit lane, so we sped by 2 miles per hour, and that ruined our race because there's only 3 laps to go. And when we're on the outside, if I could have just cleared that 19 right there, we would have had a huge hole to drop down into, but unfortunately Burton remains up the inside, and I'm realizing here that I have no opportunity whatsoever to get to the bottom, so I'm not wasting any time. We got to be aggressive and try to do something, and now we're actually forced 3 wide, so that just made things even worse here for us. Now as the 19 and the 23 are side by side. A big push though from behind from the 3 of Austin Dillon there, as I nearly get so much momentum that we just kind of glide into that outside wall. Fortunately that doesn't happen, but now you can just see what's happening. 4 wide in front of us, the 96, the 19, the 44, and the 9 now as we go down this front straightaway, trying to not cause too much issues as we're going to force it 5 wide through the triangle, coming up to 2 laps to go, not wasting any time, like I said, getting very aggressive, and we're still going backwards even after a move with 5 wide in the middle. Logano, our rival, on the inside, and once again, I just can't get down whatsoever, and we are falling back very quick as the 20 of Christopher Bell leads the way, the only Joe Gibbs Racing driver to not win this season and to not win in the last couple seasons now, as I still can't get to the bottom. Everybody is there on the inside. Hamlin's coming through, Kyle Larson's coming through. All the Hendrick cars, by the way, are like 25th and worse right now as we come through the triangle now, approaching the final lap, and just as what happened, we were down in P32 as Christopher Bell leads the way into turns 1 and 2 for the final time, but a good race it was looking like we had going. Stage 2 stuff went wrong. We rallied back in stage 3. I got a speeding penalty, ruined it for the own team now as we come through out of turns 2, down this back straightaway for the final time. Can Christopher Bell hold on? There's smoke up ahead now as we go down this back straightaway, and the caution comes out and ends the race half a lap early. Christopher Bell gets the victory, but he is already in the playoffs right now in points, so that really doesn't affect the playoff grid whatsoever. But Bell with his first win in multiple seasons now, as we have to settle for an extremely disappointing P31. Not really sure what to say. I mean, we ruined our own race with the speeding penalty, and that is of course not the first time I've gotten a speeding penalty. We've gotten that multiple times now. And I as a Daniel Suarez fan, of course, I'm living up to the Denny Hamlin part with getting speeding penalties all the time. So very frustrating there as you see the finishing order on your screen. But Elliott, Larson, Bowman, myself, all of Hendrick Motorsports had horrendous finishes, just adding on to the season that it's been. And it's weird that we're actually 5th in the standings right now. I did not expect that still, and that just makes zero sense considering the season we have had. Even Bowman, he's actually 8th in the standings. But we're going to check out the playoff grid here momentarily for the Cup Series to show you what that looks like, at least, because it's an interesting scenario we got going on. Is once again, we're having a lot of different winners this season here, and a lot of drivers that we are expecting to win are winning the races. So it's really interesting, as I'm going to show you guys in just a moment as we look through the Truck Series grid. There are only 3 spots left on points in the Truck Series, with quite a few races left in the regular season. The Xfinity Series, of course, the winners are adding up, but we've had quite a few multi-winners now, as you got Allgaier, Tony Bradinger, Paul Menard, as well as Rajat Caruth, and then 8th through 12th is still good on points right now. So a little bit more spots there, but now on the Cup Series playoff grid, here you're going to see we are down in P13, the first driver in on points, but it's only still at 1 multi-time winner. In the next episode, we will be going to Darlington for the Southern 500. I have a throwback in line. I will show that in the next episode, of course, since it is a throwback race. Denny Hamlin, he's actually likely going to have a throwback as well, since it's his final season. But there you see Kyle Larson, 18 points out. Elliott, 35 points out. Only 200 cars in the playoffs right now, as Jones and Gregson are the final spots in. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Wasn't the result, once again, that we were looking for today. Hopefully we can turn it around in Darlington. Of course, thank you to the Go On Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasseur, Russell Dixon, as well as Kenneth Barnett. You guys help me out so much, as I always say, and I really, really do appreciate it. And thank you once again for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one at Darlington. Have a great day, everybody.